Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch, our community's questions, and sometimes a little something different. My name is Dalton. Wait, no, this is episode 80, streamed live on July 18th, 2020. My name is indeed Dalton, and joining me this week are Marius.
Hi.
Alfred.
Hello.
Florian.
Hello.
And our special guest this week from the Manjaro project, Philip.
Hello, everyone.
And Furkan.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. Furkan is joining us from a Pinebook Pro this week.
Ooh.
And what is that Pinebook Pro running by chance?
Manjaro ARM.
Wow. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about the Manjaro project, Manjaro ARM, and some new news about Lomiri on Manjaro ARM. But first, we've got a little bit of news to get into this week. So I am going to start that. We're going to get rid of it real quick so that we can go and talk about the really good stuff. So starting off this week, we've got progress on Ubuntu Touch OTA 13, our next stable update to the platform. We have got 42 PRs merged, fixing a variety of amazing things. First off, headliner feature is Qt Web Engine 5.14 has been merged. Finally. So we finally have that newer Qt Web Engine, which brings about a 25% performance increase in JavaScript and WebAssembly tasks, which is a good little bump in performance. And huge new feature, the browser doesn't get kicked out of most websites because it's incompatible with them. So, hooray.
What's the problem? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, GitLab didn't like it. Neither did GitHub.
Oh.
We've also got a bunch of fixes for compilation of different projects on newer Qt and other new libraries like new glib and muscle libc, as well as newer Qt that are in distributions like, Arch, Manjaro. Wonder where those patches would have come from. Fixes to the address book app, including actually being able to record audio messages and having dedicated menu items for importing contacts from a vcard file. So when you first open contacts now, it does show you you can import from a vcard file, and that's also in settings. So that's something that's been asked about. You could do it before by opening a vcard file from the file manager and selecting the contacts app, but that wasn't that didn't make much sense for a lot of people. Florian, I think you fixed one very important thing this time. IPv6 support.
IPv6. I mean, not everybody, almost no one has access to IPv6 still, but I have, for whatever reason, my provider, they started to roll it out some time ago. And it was really annoying that this didn't work because for some reason, one of my porting experiments, that kind of broke DNS. And so 3 years ago, I filed this bug and I fixed it on myself. Perfect loop. Just things have to sit long enough in the queue to be fixed. Also proven concept in open source communities. So yeah, I cannot complain to myself that it took 3 years to fix me, but now it's there. So if anybody has access to a network with IPv6,
Can I complain at you that it took 3 years to fix?
Yeah, sure, of course. Everybody can complain to me. But yeah. So go test it out. Go to a network with IPv6. And also for next FOSDEM, that will rock because finally we can join the big networks for the grown-ups and not the baby network with IPv4 only. Yeah? It is very important. Yeah? So, yeah, that was a nice one.
Mm-hmm. Good work. And a big one for the PinePhone and the Xperia X users. We only show update channels which are available for your device now. So when you go into update settings, it doesn't show you that huge list of everything that ever existed for any device ever. Sorry. but now I fixed it. And talking a little bit more about the topic that will be coming up soon, and something that's happening in parallel because of work sponsored very graciously by one of our sponsors. We have Lomiri packages landing in Debian. So this is a lot of the driving force behind our packages getting support for newer base libraries. Getting things into Debian, and of course the newly renewed Arch project, both requiring a lot of fixes that don't exist currently in our software, just to build on newer stuff, because things have changed. This week, especially cute, but also glib. This week, Sunweaver has let us know that Lomiri Download Manager, that's the thing that handles downloading your podcasts even when the phone is asleep. Lomiri URL Dispatcher, which handles launching apps based on a link that you click on, such as a telephone link. Lomiri App Launch, which launch apps. And the big one, Mir 1.8, have landed in Debian as of this week. In Debian Unstable, that is, not in testing. So all of these are now, all of these are now available in SID. So if any of you crazy people out there are running Debian SID, you can install these packages and use their dbus API, I suppose. There's not a bunch else to do with them at the moment. But they pave the way for real Lomiri support in Debian, which therefore filters down, assuming there are no packaging conflicts, to Ubuntu after they rebase. Which would be, that's really, really long term, to be clear.
Yeah.
But Lomiri would be in universe, which would be cool.
Well, already Lomiri download manager and all that is already in Ubuntu right now, and then the devil release.
Oh, it's synced down. They don't sync. Don't they sync from testing?
Well,
how do I not know this?
Well, it's there. I don't know how, but it's there.
I don't know who put it there, but it is there.
But the thing with Debian is that it takes forever to get something new in. That's why this is taking so long, and that's why it's still gonna continue to take long. So I don't expect Debian to have. To be honest, Manjaro is gonna have this way faster. Well, it's already have it.
It's already has it.
Kind
of. Yeah.
Kind of.
It makes me feel better now.
Oh, and Rodney does correctly say in testing we have Lomiri App Dev, or Lomiri API, which is the set of APIs that the different components of Lomiri use to talk to each other, and the Suru icon theme, so that you can get all of your wonderful icons. That's what's in testing. The ones I mentioned before are in unstable. Florian, it looks like you've butt in with a bit of a topic here.
Oh yes, just sneaked into a small message about teleports, just because I happen to be kind of maintainer for this thingy. There is a nasty bug with the PinePhone that the keyboard area is not recognized properly, so you cannot really type into that. Well, we made a quick fix for that and packed everything up to the upcoming release, which will come next week. So PinePhone users have already a RC in their channel, in our UBports PinePhone channel on Telegram. But if you want to wait a few days until it stabilizes, then probably mid of next week, we roll the next teleports update. It's mainly a maintenance upgrade, no real bigger features than that, but finally PinePhone.
Yeah, PinePhone.
PinePhone.
Well, speaking of projects which are on the PinePhone, Marius, I believe you've been working with our fine guest this week to talk a little bit more about Manjaro, Lomiri, and bringing the two together.
I might have. So if we can just show this device real quick.
Oh, Oh,
Oh.
is that it?
That is it.
How did you?
How did I work?
It's fine. Okay, so this is Lomiri running on Manjaro ARM on the PinePhone.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can back up just a moment, I'm sure a lot of our viewers have heard about Manjaro and about Manjaro ARM, and well, the PinePhone. But I think we should start with Phil telling us a little bit about the Manjaro project and what your goals are with Manjaro as compared to other distros like, I don't know, Ubuntu
Arch.
and Arch itself.
Well, we are more like the Ubuntu for Arch, some people call us. So what we try to do with Manjaro in general is to get everybody simplified on the Arch base. So Pacman is one of the greatest package managers, which you can simply add packages easily with some bash scripts and compile everything also from the source if you want to. And the learning curve to get new packages into Arch-based systems might be not so high as in Debian or RPM-based systems. So from the developer perspective, we have it much easier to get to our base, and based on that, Lomiri happened to be faster on our system than on other like Debian and so. But that's how the way goes. We are welcome, and everybody outside of developer projects are welcome to commit with us. And as we saw, we worked closely together to get this thing done. And yeah, since 2011, we started a project with 3 persons, and 2016, the ARM project started to emerge. So Joshua Schrott started it and did it as a one-man show. And everybody knows when you get hit by the bus, the Manjaro ARM project is gone, which happened also. But Dan Johansen picked it off at 1 year later. It was 2018. So 2017 in February, we shut down the project. But in April 18, Dan said, hey, let's back it up. And there we go. So Manjaro ARM was a community project, is a community project, and thanks to people still interesting in the project, we are there. And now we're coding for the PinePhone, for the PineBooks, and other devices like the Raspberry and the Vim devices. So the team grown up, and more people joined the project, and now we're there where we are.
Very cool.
I want to pick especially on what you said about the package manager and packaging the packages.
That's yes.
Because I have never done packaging on Manjaro or Arch before, and I basically just threw myself into it, and it's perfect because it's just bash script, as you said. So it's so easy for a developer to get into, and yeah.
And then on the user side, that means software faster, right?
On the user side, I think that's because all the latest packages are there. So it helps upgrade the packages as well as give the benefit to the users. Like they get to get all the bugs fixed, and maybe if there is a performance increase in the updates, then they get it earlier than the other distros. So yeah, that's the benefit.
So if I understand right, Manjaro as a derivative of Arch and that packaging system does have a bit of a different release model or a snapshotting model. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a tool called Boxit, and with that we grab the packages from the ARM servers or from the Arch servers, which is for the 64-bit versions, and we make a snapshot out of the distribution so we can have the time we need to build our own overlay packages against it. So if you have a library update, it takes a while to A, find out that the library is updated, and B, you don't want to have the cat and mouse game as other projects has. So in history, I started with a KD mod, which was an extension to the Arch project once. So we had back then the tarballs of KDE were the big fat tarballs where you have all the multimedia stuff in one package, and you couldn't pick out one of the applications. So the KDE mod project started to split them up. Since Arch now have split packages, this project doesn't need to be there anymore. But since then, we had this cat and mouse game. And then we started to get the package builds ourselves and build it up. This was then in the Chakra project. But this was also not ideal because you have the old libraries, because you don't have time to update the libraries, only do the KDE packages on top. So I came up with a new concept with Manjaro to do a snapshot of Arch. And based on that, you can still take the time and package up everything else like the kernels or Lomiri or whatever is coming in. And then if you're done, you snap it over to testing, give the community a feedback. And if they say everything is fine, you can snap it over to testing and a wider range of people can use it. So that's the concept of the snaps, which has nothing to do with the snaps of Canonical, but we call it snap.
Snap it all the way.
With that in mind, snaps do run on Manjaro.
And Flatpaks.
And Flatpaks, yes, of course.
An Apple-Bench.
Yeah, all the three.
Oh, yes.
But we have a launcher to do it automatically. So if you pop in an app image, then it automatically goes to the menu.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested in that tool, we can give you a hand to get it also in your version. If you ever say, hey, app images might be interesting for phones or whatever devices you support.
Interesting.
Or might. Huh?
Talking a little bit more about the ARM side of the project. Now, Manjaro ARM, of course, kind of cut its teeth in the Raspberry Pi, kind of single board computer area, if I understand right. But now we're starting to see more consumer devices like the wonderful PineBook Pro, and of course the PinePhone and Pine Tabs of today. So, can you talk a little bit more about what you want to bring to devices like the PineBook Pro with Manjaro?
Well, with the PineBook Pro, we started with KDE. So KDE was the first UI we used there, and also XFC. So these are the main two UIs. GNOME project we didn't start because the GNOME project, as everybody knows, every half a year there's an update, and maybe it works, maybe not. And the other two, XFC and KDE, is more capable to be on a rolling release model as we are, so it's more stable. But if Ubuntu Touch or Lomiri in this case will work also on the PineBook, why not add that as well? So we have to see regarding the PineBooks. On the PinePhone side, we started also with KDE. There we started with Plasma Mobile. And recently we also added additionally the Phosh system based on GNOME. And we plan also to get Lomiri on the PinePhone, as Marius already showcased that it is possible. And with this, we have 3 UIs the user can choose, and then we see how it goes. And currently, we're not as sure what we use for the community edition of the PinePhone, which will come up also soon. But maybe we have Plasma Mobile or Phosh. We will see what we have when we are ready to give the image to the manufacturer, what works best, and we will see. So we would like to have the community input, what the guys out there and girls want to see. Is it either a polished Phosh, which other distributions like Postmarket OS will bring out now, or is it better for everyone to have a polished Plasma Mobile on the Manjaro edition of the PinePhone? So we'll see.
Now, to be fair, Marius has kind of surprised us with some things before. But what I was really surprised about with this Lomiri on Manjaro project was of course, first how quickly it came about, but also when it came about, because I didn't hear much about this before, well, last week. So, Marius, how did you get back in contact? Because we've been talking with these guys for a while, but how did you get back in contact with them and get this project started again?
It came out of boredom.
Oh.
I think that's the correct word. And I wanted to try to see what Ivan was doing on Arch, and then I came, hey, why not build this in Manjaro? And then it just snowballed from there. I had some free time in the weekend to do something else than development, so I did development. And that's as I do, yeah. But yeah, that's really how it came about. And then I really just came in contact with the Manjaro guys, and he said, "Hey, let's package it," and that's what we did.
Right. I mean, they. Because the thing is, I've. Excuse me. Because the thing is, I've talked with Phil before about this, and it was kind of the. It felt like, whenever we're ready, they would like to accept our work. So it just seemed like it all came together this week really perfectly. So whether by some orchestration by you or you just wanted to do it, I guess that works too.
It has to be the perfect time. So if the time was right this last week and it showed off as it possible, why not now? As it was planned already, and as soon as someone has the opportunity to do some stuff and actually do it, magic will happen. And in the end, the user community will be thankful for it and appreciate everything. And we can see what issues might come in the future on the Manjaro base, which then might reflect on Ubuntu base, which then can be prevented to happen ever. So might be also a win-win situation in that case.
Well, we'll
So
see.
far, how was your experience with Manjaro and Lomiri? Like, what did you get out of it? Like, can we go ahead with it and get a image ready according to your experience with Manjaro packaging?
To be honest, it went a lot smoother than expected. I expected it to fail everywhere. It did fail somewhere, but most of them were minor things to patch. And as you can tell, we got to this place within a week-ish. And to get like this it's really far. I'm not sure how many packages it's already in, but it's a lot.
I have a list of them. More than
Yeah.
80 packages.
More than
Yeah.
80 packages. All right.
And that's just to get to this. That's just this stage.
Yeah,
not
you're
done.
still missing some indicators.
So
Still missing some
most
indicators.
of the apps are missing, correct?
Yeah. And but to be honest, yeah, it went a lot quicker and a lot smoother than expected, and I think I don't think we will run into any major problem after this. The heavy lifting is done, the hard part, especially trying to get a systemd user session, which also did go more smoothly than expected.
Right,
So
I mean, that's...
Are you trying to say? Yeah, sorry.
Uh,
Are you trying
was-
to say that you got it to build the systemd compositor?
Yes, this is running on the systemd
Oh, right.
on the system compositor.
Oh, thank goodness. All right.
That's good to hear. Yes.
That's
So
some very
this-
technical
Alright.
stuff.
This is why the indicator is running, because they are all now running by systemd, which I have to say I do quite like systemd when I start working with it.
I'm sorry. Just had
even
my- I
though
told you-
Upstart, even though Upstart is good, I understand systemd now, especially
I'm-
all the additional stuff that systemd does.
This is where this all comes together, right? That the longer term projects for Ubuntu Touch are to get onto newer upstream software, to get to Ubuntu 2004, which only has systemd, to get onto or into other distributions like Debian and Manjaro, so that people can use the software that is designed for phones, designed for tablets, designed for your desktop, so that everyone can enjoy it and have an opportunity to help us with it, so that we have the opportunity to help the community with everything that we've been doing for the past 3 years. This is our way that we can give back too, by having this isn't going well.
Go on.
By being able to offer our software on a different distribution base, it makes it more possible for us to build software for us, for the direct community of Ubuntu Touch, for the direct UBports community, and to start bringing us together with other communities, so that our contributors are helping other Linux distributions just as much as other Linux distributions have helped us.
I think one thing we also need to mention is, especially for the user, you would see the difference in how the different systems are set up, because Ubuntu Touch is more or less specially designed to run on phones, where it has its read-only file system and system image update and click packages. And this also is an opportunity to run Lomiri in a more quote-unquote traditional Linux desktop. And I think that's also helping us to break this this
Portability.
portability. It's one thing, but
yeah.
that portability, yes. But I wanted more to say, we see bad reputation that Lomiri can't run elsewhere because it's so specially designed. While it's not really Lomiri that's specially well, it is kinda, but it's not as specially designed as our OS is, because that's a different thing, and it seems to be mixed between our user environment and the OS that we make.
Right. Ubuntu Touch is this whole package that is quite frankly difficult to port, but Lomiri itself and the apps that we have are more portable, or will be more portable for some of them.
They are more portable than I expected. I have noticed that, because it worked pretty nicely.
Yeah. We're getting pretty late in the show, so I'm gonna skip around the questions a bit. Actually,
sponsors.
Yeah, I should probably pause this for a moment, and thank the sponsors of the UBports Foundation. So we'll be right back to that, but first, I'd like to give a big thank you to the Foundation's platinum sponsors, including Smooze, Vala, Pine64, and Private Internet Access, and to those who are sponsoring our infrastructure, such as Gandhi and DigitalOcean. Huge thank you to all of you for making it possible for us to build Ubuntu Touch and to build Lomiri for other operating systems, other Linux distributions. I'd also like to give a big thank you. Marius, please stop talking.
Yeah.
I'd also like to give a big thank you to our community sponsors, including Laurentine Tillman, Renat Mirkolev, George Toma, Michael Dale Meyer, A. Thiel, Max Fielder, James H. Jackson Jr., Jaden, Casey Lambie, Darren Olson, and Nathan Thomas. A huge thank you to all of you for making it possible for us to build Ubuntu Touch. If you'd like to join them, you can find the community sponsor level. If you'd like me to mispronounce your name on these shows, you can find them at patreon.com/UBports. Or if you'd like to donate in any other way, you can head to UBports.com/donate. I'd like to give the Manjaro team a bit of a moment here to thank anyone that they would like to for their community. Since, you're taking your time to be here today, I'd like to let you thank anyone who you'd like.
Okay. We will thank Pine64 for being able to give us the opportunity to work on the devices like the PinePhone and the PineBook Pro. And also we will thank all our sponsors from Community Bridge and Open Collective. So if you want to donate to Manjaro, then go over there and pop up their subscription. We have single time or multiple time, doesn't matter. And if you want to join the community, just do so. You don't have to be a developer. You can also translate or help on the forum. So there are many ways without even having to spend the money, any penny or any dollar or any cent. You can simply help out. So just
All right.
join us, help us, and other communities like the UBports.
And with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about some questions from our community this week. So we take these questions from our forum and live chat directly while we are streaming. We had a few more questions in live chat today that didn't make it into the final show. So if you want to ask all those questions, get them all, you got to join us live on Saturdays at 1900 UTC every other week. Just got to be here for it. But the questions that we have here were taken from our forum this week, and Alfred starts.
All right, so Provoke asks the question, any thoughts on Canonical's recently announced efforts to port Google's Flutter framework to Ubuntu Desktop, and especially the use of Mir for Wayland-based desktop systems? It would seem to me like this would open the door for Flutter as a first-class app framework on Wayland-based UT ports as well.
Right. So there's a bit to unpack there. But the work on Flutter is interesting to me personally, simply because Fluffy Chat, our Matrix client that started with QML and Ubuntu Touch, is now a Flutter app. So if we could bring the new Fluffy Chat, both to the Linux desktop and to Ubuntu Touch as a convergent application, that seems like a win all around, because that means that everyone gets access to this app.
Shireen, I met Flutty Chat or something.
Oh,
Okay. It is currently geared towards building snaps at the moment, so it would be interesting to see how we would want to package them up and if we'd want to use that work or how we want to go about that. But it is an interesting development in the space, and I think we're going to see a lot of really nice desktop applications because Flutter developers can make applications for the Linux desktop now. Mm-hmm. And they'll work on Manjaro, they'll work on the Ubuntu desktop, they'll work on not that one.
Linux.
A lot of distributions that have snaps. So I think it's a good development.
Yeah. And I think there has been some confusing with the announcement about this. I saw something in Phoronix that is going to run using Mir, but that's not the case as far as I could see. It's just that the developer used Mir to run it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's
yeah. Up next.
With the next question from Provoke, with Lomiri being ported to Debian and the recent port to Manjaro ARM seems to run on the PineBook Pro, is it even remotely realistic to decouple the application backend, click packages, and Media Hub, etc., from core Ubuntu?
yes.
We already did it.
Short answer,
So,
then quick.
Yeah, I think it is an interesting question. Like everyone is in like shock, like or surprise that how is it working out. So yeah, thanks to Marius, he's doing a lot of work on the back end. So yes.
Right. And there's a lot of ways that you answer this question. So, of course, there's the way that this makes it possible for someone to build native packages in Manjaro for apps which are packaged as clicks on Ubuntu Touch. Right? That makes that more possible.
Technically, we already have click there, so technically, yes, that would work.
You can also use clicks there. Okay. Already put click on it.
We ported
All right.
everything, so
Yeah,
why not
Click is
use
one of
the
the-
full power?
yeah. Click is one of the dependencies. It doesn't necessarily need to be, but it's a simple package. So.
Mhm. And
Sorry, I would like to add into the beauty of Arch, that is the AUR. Like I got around 10% of the existing packages from the AUR. So people are constantly contributing to the UBport on the AUR, thinking that one day a UBport might port their work to other distros, and that is now.
That's happened. Yeah.
the other way to take the question is applications can be made in containerized formats like Flatpaks or Snap someday, not currently, which would also decouple the applications from the operating system they're running on and make it possible to do the same thing that you're probably asking about here, which is running Ubuntu Touch apps on all different manner of distros.
Oh, if you mean that you cannot run application compiled for Click for Ubuntu Touch, you cannot run on Arch because the system libraries will be ABI incompatible.
Right.
Because
that's where we're looking. But you can compile applications, including in clicks, which would run on Arch. It just doesn't seem like a good idea compared to just building the Arch package if you want to go that way.
You have to package it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think packaging with Manjaro in the first place, it's easy enough for the developer to do. So I don't think that's really the goal that Clicks try to solve. I don't think that's what Manjaro is going, because Click was made to be possible to run on a read-only file system. That's what it's essentially a glorified app package which can handle a read-only file system where it installs it on a read-write partition.
And then there was the additions of confinement and everything that came on with it.
Yeah.
And
So-
not trusting the people who made your applications, basically.
Yeah, we still want to. But
We still don't trust them.
but and it's not that we don't trust them, it's that the way that the design is more or less like Snap, where everything is sandboxed.
What you're trying to say is you can't run your clicks straight from Ubuntu Touch on Manjaro.
No, that
But
that
we
would
are
be the
building the way for you to run Ubuntu Touch applications built for Manjaro on Manjaro.
Yeah. So to sum it up really easily is, if you want, you cannot take a Click package and move it over. That will be equivalent of just taking a deb package and extract it on top of Manjaro and try to run it. It might work, but the chances are that they work is pretty slim.
But if you do a base system and similar as Flatpaks or Snaps, and use a slimmed down version of your OS, it might work then?
Yeah.
Right. That's the way that would be nice to go, right? That's where everyone wants to be, is to have all the applications and none of the overhead of maintaining the OS themselves.
Yeah.
But you have to maintain some OS, so even if it's a
Just enough to run the
minimalistic-
containers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Florian, save us.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to something completely different. Alan wants to know, he has seen an increase in chat about Lomiri desktop recently, which is now completely different to what we talked before. Is there a corresponding increase in developers interested in making it great again?
I mean, of course, having this on different distributions means more eyes on Lomiri. And that's almost always going to be a good thing. And that means that everyone can put their own special sauce with it to make their own distribution pop with Lomiri.
I think with this way, Lomiri team can concentrate on getting the updates to the UI and the apps instead of focusing on the distribution side. So that would, I think, increase the pace of the development of the Lomiri side, Lomiri packages.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's also one of the things that I wanted to achieve with this, because I know that for someone to come in and package what we currently had would be incredibly hard, because it's not battle tested. It hasn't really gotten the exposure to a different system yet. And for me to actually go ahead and make sure that it works, it will also be easier in the future to both maintain it, but also to port it to others like Fedora, SUSE, and
Packet loss,
That's
you know,
right.
all the good distributions. All right, Marius, are you back?
yes.
Okay, that's good. Because Auri88 asks, what is missing or in need of love in Lomiri for a passable user experience on desktop? Should have learned a little more about that this week.
So this is also a pleasantly surprised. I tried the generic system image that we have just for development for QME images and virtual machines, and I tried it on a real laptop because someone suggested I do that. And I was pleasantly surprised that it works better than what I expected. When I say work better than I expected, that's because I'm
booted.
used to it booted. Well, yeah, essentially, yeah. I didn't expect it to boot at all because it was never tested on a real device, but just a virtual machine image. But what really surprised me was that most of the things work with X11 and stuff, with some with the patches that I made. But I really think that X11 is the big thing that is missing for desktop. X11 works through Xvariant, but it's if you have tried other Raylan sessions and tried to run X11 application, you will know what I'm talking about. They are still not quite perfect, and
But you
Mir
can't really
currently.
tell, right?
Well, you can. On Mir you can still, because
Right.
it's still early in development. But it's starting to get really, really good. But I think that's the one that's missing, and also the workspace and multi-display stuff. And also a lot of mouse improvements, because the mouse cursor and stuff is still a bit funky. Because
I
it was
have no idea what's wrong with that.
Yeah, it's interesting when you start developing something just for touchscreen and add the mouse support. It's hard, but the other way is also hard. I'm not sure what's harder, but I feel like the way going touch first and then mouse is probably easier. So
Just
I
wait
guess
till
we
we
are.
need to add pen support.
It already does, actually.
I don't believe you. Okay.
I tried it, but it doesn't work great.
Okay.
But it have it.
I mean, you've had a little bit of time with it now as well, Forkon. What do you think of what do we need to fix in Lomiri?
I think it's all we need to do right now is get the apps running quite smoothly. The only thing we will have issues with is the graphic drivers and the video drivers. That's the only thing which I think it will take time, and it all depends on the kernel developers like Penfrost project and the Cedrus project. if all are familiar with what I'm talking. Like the Penfrost is for the GPU drivers, and the Citrus is for the video processors. So yeah. Other than that, we need apps. I think UBport has all the apps which is needed for daily use. Other than that, it depends on everyone what they prefer. Like most of them, or most of the Linux community is following the Telegram, but there is a need for WhatsApp and other Android native apps. So that is one of the concern that will come in the future once PinePhone becomes a daily driver for normal phone use, which is I think almost there. How is your feedback? How is the UBport community feedback regarding their PinePhones?
It's not
Mixed.
ready for daily use yet.
Sorry.
Well, it's not
Some
ready.
people are.
Yeah,
Some people
that's what I can say. Some people are driving this as a daily driver, and I wouldn't say it's ready. I have driven some weird builds before, but I don't think the PinePhone is ready yet. But to see that people actually are daily driving it already, I think it's a good sign that we are on the right track at least. But it needs more time. It needs more love. Especially, it needs more love on the power management and crust and all that, and waking up. And a lot of progress has gone on into that, especially for power management. It now does 100 hours or something like that without modem,
Yes.
which is insane. Well, also the Nexus 5 does that easily too without modem. So yeah, this is
But
really
impressive
cool.
that it's all done with open source software.
It definitely is. It's all open. That's the incredible stuff, that it's all open source. Especially that the only thing is that the modem is a black box and Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Modem, Bluetooth firmware, and ANX, the USB-C controller, has firmware, but that thing doesn't run on Ubuntu Touch yet, so we don't have it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I went through this week and started triaging some of the bugs in the PinePhone tracker, so hopefully we get a little bit more visibility into how work is being done there, and indeed we've been able to get a more focused project going on OTA 13. So I'd like to also... We took this question in a different direction, but it's okay. I'd like to also bring more visibility into the PinePhone project and how it's progressing, both for our team and for those outside of our team. So, yeah, big thanks. Basically, we just ran into his next question, what are the next steps now that you're on the PinePhone? Which is getting the hardware working correctly. If it works correctly in Lomiri on Ubuntu Touch, it should be really easy to get it working on other distributions, because we're the odd ones out. Right? With the PinePhone.
The next step, if we separate from PinePhone and just Lomiri, the next step for Lomiri right now is to square up a lot of the mess that I made with the user session, because now I just throw everything at it and see what worked.
You're thinking short term.
Short term, yes. Long term, we need to get apps in, we need to get keyboard in, and once we have that, we can actually start hooking up a lot of the modem and stuff. But I already said telephony handler is already running, and I saw it detected a SIM already, so I don't think that will be much of a deal. Ophono is already running. Wi-Fi is working, Bluetooth is working. So we are on a really good road, and I don't think we will hit any major roadblocks. But let's take one package at a time and see where we come. We have no estimate at all because we don't know.
Yep, for your Lomiri and Manjaro project. And for Ubuntu Touch, yeah, I'm looking for to bring more visibility into it. Marius, expect that at our next development meeting. Get ready.
What?
Get ready for that at our next sync. Because I'm going to have
happened?
so many things to talk to you about.
Yeah, I dropped out for a second. I didn't know what you said.
Good. This is better.
I need to rewatch this.
Only if he cuts it in, he can edit it out.
Ooh,
I can watch it now.
Anyway, well, thank you to both Forkan and Philip for joining us today for the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. Is there anywhere that you would like to send people where they can learn more about the Manjaro project or your own personal projects? Forkan?
I think I would like Manjaro community users to try and the packages are already in the unstable repo, so maybe they can just pull in all the package and try it on their devices and share the feedback. That is really helpful for us because of course we do not get time to test each and everything on the OS. I just go randomly test the main features of the once I build something. So it is from the community that we would get to know what is not working and what is working, and then we can look into it.
Okay. Philip, is there anywhere that you'd like to send anyone?
Well, when we have new members, they find a home in our forums. So the forums is really helpful. If you have an issue, simply ask the question. You can also search for it, but simply asking something is faster. And the community is really open. Even if a question was asked many, many times before, you get either a new answer because maybe something changed. So a new answer is more perfect to that question. Or they link you to either a wiki page or an old forum post, which might help you to get to your solution. And if you have a new image, like for the PinePhone, when we have the Lomiri image, simply download it, pop it on your SD, boot it up, and tell us what works not yet. Same goes for our Fosh image or the Plasma Mobile image. We will already upload new versions soon. So you see the process based on the 1 week we showcased with Marius and Forkan regarding Lomiri. I did 1 week for the Fosh, and we went from the first alpha not working anything to now tomorrow upcoming the second alpha, which almost everything works. So this was also showcased in the last Pine64 blog that we came back with a new edition beside Plasma Mobile, but Plasma Mobile we still continue, and simply download the stuff. Everything is out there. Compare everything like Mobian, Ubuntu Touch, as if you want to have a phone, which Linux applications is out there. And if some other project already solved the problem, simply tell us that that problem is there solved. So we can check with their community what they actually did to get that done. And then it goes into all the projects. So that's the beauty on open source. And that's why we have now 2 projects working together to get, in this case, Lomiri working.
I think one thing I want to bring in here, and especially was really cool to see, is how the communities together, the developers are working together, even though they are cross distribution. We are Ubuntu based. We are now working together with Manjaro based, and same with Postmarket OS. We have worked a lot with them. And Mobian and all this. Even though we technically are competition, we as a developer never see yourself as competition. And I think that's,
if nothing else.
And friendly. And I think that's something that people might think that we are hating each other because we are competition technically, Go ahead.
Yeah, regarding that, I just read a comment over here. Somebody saying that why, I think somebody said why Ubuntu, why Manjaro, why Arch. Like, they are trying to say some hate words. So I just wanted to say it's all Linux community, and I think it is the time that we should be united and help each other out, and then that's how we can grow as a mainstream operating system, and not just like just for developers or someone who wants to tinker. Instead, we should focus on the being a mainstream competitor other than the big two
Yeah,
operating
yeah.
system.
We have
Definitely.
some big players to compete with in both the desktop area. We have two big players, and in the mobile place we have arguably even bigger players. And I think from my experience, developers have always been like that. I don't think I have come across a developer, especially at Fosdem or anywhere else, where there has been anything like
I
fight.
don't like your project.
But
Or
I
if
feel
it is,
like I
it's over
see
a beer.
yeah, it's over a beer, and you say. But this is the thing that I wanted to come down to. I think it might look like, especially if you look at the user side, there's a lot of anger, especially on r/Linux and places like this, on Reddit. There is a lot of flame wars between distribution, but between developers, I personally have not seen that, and it's really heartwarming to actually see that we work so well together, and it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's just the communities have this tribal wars, and everybody thinks, hey, that there are tribal wars going on between those things. But if you look at the community itself, you have 13% which are loud, and everybody thinks those tip of the icebergs is the community itself and speaks for everyone. But those are only those who speak up if they either have something which worked, so these are the fanboys, or then other persons say, hey, this doesn't work, if you don't fix it right away, I will jump over to a different distribution where it's actually work, or hey, why this update takes so long, and why not yet? Then we say, hey, just jump in a different branch, it's easy to get the updates. But no, I don't do that because it's not labeled as stable, so even stable is not stable, it's only a label. So some things from the community
Tell us
we
how
don't
you really
get as
feel, Phil.
developers. Yeah. And it's wonderful to see that the Pine64 and the open source ARM community and also other communities are there. Even I went to event of Canonical and saw several developers there. So as Marius told, if you find a developer and ask him what is going on, it's fine. And if you go to a Snapcraft Summit and see that someone is using Manjaro or SUSE at Canonical, then you will find out that it's not about the distros itself from a developer perspective, because they have to test snaps on other distributions like Fedora as well if they want to have their technology out there. And you guys did it with Lomiri and started now, and find us as a partner to do so, and we both benefit. We get a new UI, and you get Devet feeds to go out of your bubble and base it on something else other than you're already based on. And that is the beauty of open source.
Absolutely.
Not everyone sees that, so I think it's good to have that.
I want to bring up something I bring up every time. But we played Exploding Kitten with the post-market OS guys. I bring this up every time, but it just shows how cool it is to. That's still great. The Fosdem stuff. I have told this story too many times, so I will carry on.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't win by tearing each other down. I think that'll sum that up. That'll sum that up. So yeah, thank you to both of you for, being willing to play ball with us. Sorry, that's an Americanism. And thank you, Marius, for getting in touch with them, getting this work done. It's really good to see.
And thank
If you-
them for actually helping out with the packaging and stuff. It's amazing how quick this have come along.
Yeah, if we work together and everyone is expert in some things and you glue the parts together, some come out. And we were happy to teach you how to package for us, and we are happy to see that it works out. Yeah.
All right. And if you'd like to
So
learn
last
more...
thing, there should be a combined hackathon maybe. That's something we could do, depending on where you're located. But everybody in Europe can find each other somehow. So maybe that's something we should do.
Not now. Not now.
Not now, yeah? But soon, TM.
Wait
Soon,
until
yeah.
the virus is over. Damn virus.
But sure, we
There
can do
goes
that.
any
Yes.
monetization we would have had, but okay.
But yeah, we have actually 31 minutes over overtime. This is the longest we have ever go over.
I know.
But it will be shut down and chopped down because we have so many outtakes.
Yeah,
So maybe
it'll
1
be
hour or
fine.
something like that. We will see.
And thank you everyone so much for joining us for this episode 80 of the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. It's been an experience for sure. Thank you to Phil and Furkan for joining us. If you'd like to learn more about Manjaro, you can go to manjaro.org, where you can download it for your desktop, or you can find the Manjaro ARM edition for all your devices. Well, maybe not all of them, but if you got a Pinebook Pro, it's pretty good on there. I can attest to that. And if you'd like to learn more about Ubuntu Touch, the UBports community, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Instagram, or Diaspora. We also have a Telegram and Matrix news channel if you want our news directly in your chat client. If you'd like to talk more with us, you can head over to forums.ubports.com for long-form content, or at UBports on Telegram, or #UBports:/matrix.org on the Matrix Network with Fluffy Chat, or Riot. Element. It's called Element now, guys. That'll do it for us for this one. Thank you everyone again for joining us, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 So.
Have a good night.